A law is valuable not because it is a law, but because there is a right in it. So hello and welcome. I'm your host, Dr. Ruby Gill, and I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to you all on the behalf of lovely professional university. So attendees, we all are gathered here virtually to witness an incredible session as our expert is going to tell us all about how to prevent the sexual harassment at workplace. So before we commence, allow me to introduce the experts of the day. Dr. Meenu Chopra, Professor and Deputy Dean, School of Law, lovely professional university. An intellectual personality with specialization in taxation laws and holding an experience of 18 years in academics and industry as well. She is continuously keep on harnessing her skills while pursuing various courses on expandable areas such as soft skills, educational leadership, outcome-based pedagogy, developing IPR, and other associated fields. Moreover, she is quite extensive in research and mentored various students of the field. Her expertise lies in business laws, constitution laws, and matters of social interest. So, ma'am, it's a privilege to have you on board with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
With equal pleasure, I would like to welcome our admission nominee, Dr. Tushinder Preet Kaur, Professor and Coordinator of CEL, Department of Counseling and Admission, lovely professional university. She is a dynamic personality with an experience of more than 15 years as an academician. She has presented papers in numerous national and international conferences, and she has, to her credit, more than 40 research papers published in refereed national and international journals of repute, and has also authored one book. And attendees today, she'll discuss about the admission process, eligibility, scholarship, and the infrastructure part of the university. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruby.
So with this, we'll begin today's webinar. So over to you, ma'am, and looking forward for a great interactive session.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So as all of us are aware that the discussion point today is the prevention of sexual harassment at the workplace. So as far as this topic is a very common topic, as the people are the majority, are the working persons as such, and the persons hereby, we are here to discuss about the women. Sexual harassment is not a women's thing, a passing fate, something a joke about, something to be ignored, or a cause for paranoia and fear. It's a legal requirement. Rather, it is a legal requirement to prevent, prohibit, and address this issue at the workplace. So specifically, when I'm talking about the workplace, it actually started with a case itself, and that was the case concerning Bhavari Devi. Okay, so hereby, basically, this case was about a Dalit woman who was a worker as such, and who instigated certain social cause, but later on was, you could say, gang raped by the people of the village itself. And afterwards, that matter was taken up by the Vishakha, which was an NGO working for the cause of the women. And they took the matter ahead. And from thereby, we had the guidelines, which are popularly known as the Vishakha guidelines. And the Vishakha guidelines were there in the force, which were given by the Supreme Court. Thereby, the Supreme Court tried to give certain guidelines so as to ensure the safety and security of the women at the workplace. Later on, we people do have an act with regard to this. And the act that we normally talk about is the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act of 2013. Okay, so specifically, this is an act which is applicable throughout the territory of India. Moreover, it also talks about the protection of women at the workplace. So workplace, once we are talking about what is a workplace, who is a woman to be covered under the act, it says that no women shall be subjected to sexual harassment at workplace. It's specifically mentioned under section 3 subclause 1. Now, understanding the basics of the thing. So first of all, let us understand what do we mean by sexual harassment? What do we mean by workplace? And who is the woman as such, which is termed as aggrieved women under the act? Now, aggrieved women, specifically once we are talking about as a working woman or a visiting at any workplace who may be a regular employee, it may be a temporary employee, it may be the ad hoc or the daily wage worker also. So hereby, there is nothing with regard to the terms of employment. It could be any kind of employment that we are talking about, regular, temporary, ad hoc, daily wages, etc. Right? Even the people who are not directly engaged into the work itself, they are engaged with the contractors, etc. Those women are also covered under this particular act. So they are working for the remuneration, voluntary or otherwise. Then terms of employment may be express, implied, could be a co-worker, contract worker, prohibitioner, trainee, apprentice, visitor, etc., etc. And it also covers the working women in the dwelling places or the houses. So see, the definition of the aggrieved women is very broader. So hereby, the act, it intends that every kind of women who has stepped out of her home to work in a particular locality, society, business, office, wherever she is working there, and the act ensures the protection of the women at the workplace itself. So workplace, it's not only covering the salaried employees, rather the trainees, as we know that many students are working as trainees, apprentice, etc. So whosoever be the lady who is working anywhere will also be covered under the provisions of this particular act. Right? So as far as now, let us understand what do we mean by the definition of the term workplace. So workplace, what does this mean? It means any place. Any place means wheresoever the lady is going to work as such. Okay, it may be an unorganized sector, organized sector, private sector, hospital, nursing home, sports institution, or even the dwelling houses, etc. That means the domestic help that we are having at home, they are also supposed to be provided protection under the provisions of the Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act itself. So office parties, etc., etc., whatever be there, even the travel for the official purposes, is also to be included under the definition of workplace. Now, another important thing is, what do we mean by the term sexual harassment? Hota kya hai? Okay, so this may be something, it's bullying, coercion of the sexual nature, or any unwelcome remarks, inappropriate promise, or reward in exchange for the sexual favors, etc., etc. Okay, so such kind of things may be the untoward incidents, whatever are there, which may not be liked by a majority of the women whosoever are working. So whatever be the nature of activity done with them will be termed as a sexual harassment. It's a gross violations of women's right to equality and the dignity itself. Like there are certain instances that I could show you through this photograph also. So it's a kind of the physical contact or advances. It may be in the form of demand or any request for the sexual favors, sexually colored remarks, showing pornography or otherwise offensive or derogatory pictures or cartoons, etc., or any other unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of the sexual nature. Okay, so whatever be the content, the intent of the lady, like whatever she could feel through her senses itself, is not an acceptable thing. Even that may be covered under the sexual harassment. So it may be implied or explicit at the workplace itself. So even it could be the intimidating or offensive or hostile work environment also, any kind of humiliating treatment, etc., to affect our health or safety will also be considered that. So basically, what is the intent of the person as such? The intent of the opposite party is that he is asking for certain kind of sexual favors from the concerned party too. It may be with regard to her present or the future employment status also. Even the work environment, if it is a hostile or intimidating or offensive work environment, that will also be covered under the definition of sexual offense as such. Then see, you could go through these kind of pictures as such. So as if once we are talking about what it may talk about, what it may include as such. So it may be inclusive of, like in case if some person, as if the photograph one is there, so here where the person is commenting about the women and he is talking about he's just commenting on the gender kind of remarks. So making babies is all the women are good for, using gender biased insult. Okay, then at any public place or somewhere else also, it may be any kind of physical touch, whatever be there. Like it may be talking about any embarrassing songs, etc., whatever may be. So everything it amounts to sexual harassment. Proceeding ahead, even there could be another things in case, like as if the cracking jokes which can cause awkwardness, embarrassment, or anything like whereby the gender is specifically being like the gender-based discrimination is there. Some person is trying to be very much intimate with any of the lady itself. All these things are included under the meaning and definition of the sexual harassment. Okay, so in the previous picture, you could see here, like there may or may not be the direct physical touch. Okay, there may or may not be the direct physical touch, but any kind of offensive words, whatever are being used here, those offensive words will also be considered as the sexual harassment. Now, this is a thing we have just understood the idea. What does this term mean? Who is the lady who could get benefit under this law, and what remedies are available right now? Any of the laws are successful laws only and only if there is certain remedy under the law. Like there could be any, like this is like an ailment, whatever is existent. Now, what is the treatment of this ailment? Okay, so hereby, as we know that there could be certain penal provisions, and it may come under the Indian Penal Code also. The first section that we talk about is section 354, that is assault or the criminal force to women with intent to outrage her modesty. Even it is there, it's a punishable offense under IPC. Then obscene acts or songs or words, gestures or act intended to insult the modesty of a woman, everything is covered as such hereby, and the person is supposed to be punished as per the provisions of IPC. Now, talking about the workplace and accountability. Now, the question may be, who is responsible and accountable for the prevention? Okay. Now, then what is the role of the workplace in prohibiting and how it can be proceeded ahead? Now, in the upcoming section, we shall be talking about these two questions. Okay. Now, first thing when I'm talking about who is responsible and accountable for the prevention, it is of course the employer. Okay. So it is the employer who shall create a workplace free of sexual harassment. Now, it becomes a responsibility of the employer that he need to provide a safe working environment for the female employees as well. Okay, so what kind of working environment may be there? Now, first of all, let us understand whom do we term an employer to be. Okay, so employer as such, we have already talked about, it may include the organized sector, unorganized sector, or even the dwelling homes itself is also one of the sectors. So everywhere, whosoever be the office in charge or whatever be there, they will be termed as the employers as such. Okay, now workplace of central government, state government, local authority, body, the head of the officer specifies. Okay, whosoever be the in charge, the head of the office, he will be termed as the employer for this purposes. Then in case of any private workplace, the person responsible for the management, supervision and control as such. For dwelling houses, the person who employs benefits from the employment. Now see, in case of dwelling houses, like it may be the person who has employed the lady at the home for domestic help, or it may be the person who is being benefited out of this employment. All of them may be covered under the definition of employer. Now, how to do that? Okay, how to take care of the things? First of all, it is their responsibility to provide a protective workplace. In case any such kind of untoward accident has happened, then of course it becomes the responsibility of the employer to prepare an internal committee under this law. Like it will be a committee who will be just looking into the matter, like whatever is the relevant inquiry to be made, it shall be made by the employer concerned. Okay, now employer concerned shall create and communicate a detailed policy, and it is also the duty of the employer to spread orientation and awareness about such kind of issues. Then constitute the complaints committee, ensure that the complaint committee is trained in skill and capacity, prepare annual report to be submitted to the officer, then report in the director's report as well. So this is how the normal system of this kind of working culture has to be initiated and maintained by the employer, and it becomes the responsibility of the employer to create such kind of informative environment as well. Now, specifically, how to prevent or deter the commission or commitment of the act of sexual harassment. It may be by means of creation of appropriate working conditions, ensuring that female employees are not treated as sex objects, ensuring that no male employee or third party will outrage or insult the modesty of a female colleague, ensuring that no male employee or third party will make any type of sexual advances to the female colleagues, and establishment of the complaints committee committee be there. That means whenever the conduct of the parties are involved, whosoever the person, the male members of the organization are working, they are supposed to treat the women like with ultimate esteem and dignity itself. If there be any such kind of untoward remark made by them, it becomes the responsibility of the employer to check them. And also, the employer is also supposed to establish a complaint committee in relation to the same. Like complaint committee, whatsoever be constituted hereby, there shall be various members of the committee who shall be in the office for a term for 3 years itself, and they are supposed to educate and sensitize the employees about the same, to address the complaints, conduct inquiry, etc., etc. And it will be a quasi-judicial body. So quasi-judicial body, once we are talking about, it means it's a body whereby which may take certain kind of judicial steps also. Judicial steps, when I'm talking about, like hereby to conduct the inquiry or other things, it may be done by them. They may summon and enforce the attendance, they may call for the evidence or the documents, etc. too, because these things are important for the purpose of conducting the inquiry as such. Now, see, the committee that I am talking about, as under the law, it becomes a responsibility of the employer that he has to maintain a congenial work environment at workplace. So for that purpose, as a committee may be constituted, it is termed as the internal complaint committee, and the committee is constituted with the objective of analyzing such kind of complaints as such. And hereby, 50% women shall be the part of the committee. I'm not saying it to be the 100%. Rather, 50% of the members shall be the women as such. And the chairman of the committee shall be, it is the women working at the senior level as the employee. Then there has to be 2 members in the committee with the legal knowledge or experience in the social field, and other members shall be from amongst the NGO association committed to cause of the women or the person familiar with the issue of sexual harassment, etc. Okay, so as it is, this will be the constitution of the committee. That means no single person is there who is supposed to take any necessary action. Rather, it is a committee of members who will be taking up the matters ahead. Then complaint committee, what is the main function of the complaint committee? Now see, first of all, it's the identification of any such kind of problem, whatever be there. That problem has to be addressed. That problem has to be addressed by whom? By the employer concerned. Okay, so as to make the efficient system itself, the employer may constitute what it has to, rather, not may, rather the employer is supposed to constitute the internal complaint committee. We have also just gone through the process. What shall be the member? What shall be the composition or constitution of the internal complaints committee? Then committee should also do some certain things. What are the tasks or the functions which are being allocated to the committee? It may be just knowing the act, the policy, the rules, etc., spreading information about that, conducting any kind of queries, any kind of interviews, etc., etc., for that purpose. That means they are supposed to prepare a report. They are supposed to testify the things, like whatever information is being provided to them, what is the authenticity of that information, and accordingly to punish the wrongdoers under the act as such, right? So now the point is, in case if any such kind of incident has happened ever, so within how much time? Okay, the next question is, within how much time the corrective action is supposed to be taken, or within how much time the complaint can be made as such by the aggrieved women as such. So the complaint can be initiated within a time span of 3 months from the date of last incident. Last incident, when I'm saying here, that it may be a continuing offense also. It may be a situation that the multiple offenses are being taken up against that particular woman. So whenever the last such incident has happened, from that particular duration, the minimum or the maximum time period is 3 months, within which the lady should be coming up with the complaint. Okay, now the time limit may be extended also in case the committee feels that there were certain extraordinary reasons for which the women has not reported the matter to the committee. Okay, then if the women is unable to make a complaint in writing, it is to provide certain kind of assistance too. Now, next question may be, like, who is supposed to make this complaint? Okay, whether the woman herself or any person on her behalf can also make the complaint. First of all, the answer is yes, the women herself is supposed to make this kind of complaint. Okay. In case if the woman is not of mental physical capacity, that means that mentally she is unfit to take her matter ahead, then on her behalf, her relatives, her friend, then the special educators, qualified psychiatrist, psychologist, guardian under whom she is receiving care, any person who has information about the incident with the written consent of any of the above may also take up the matter ahead before the internal complaints committee. So that means although it is a primary matter, primary interest matter of the lady herself, but on her behalf, the other person may also instigate the complaint. Okay. Now, as if we are talking about the physical incapacity may also be the initial thing that we have discussed about. It was the mental incapacity of the women. But in case of the physical incapacity of the women, her relative, her friend, co-worker, officer of the state, National Commission for Women, or any person who has information about incident with the written consent of the women may also come up as such. Okay. Now, in case if there be any death or anything like that, then about such incident, with the consent of the legal heirs of the person, the complaint can further be raised. And in any other case, the consent of the women is required when the woman is unable to make the complaint due to death, physical or mental incapacity. Her legal heir or person authorized by her may make the complaint as such. Okay. Now we have discussed about who could raise a complaint. Now we shall be proceeding ahead. What kind of complaint may be there? Okay. The complaint, of course, it need to have the relevant facts, the relevant information, whatever be there. So it may not be any kind of general statement. The statement may not be like something has happened this way or that way. Okay. Exactly the name of the contravener, the complainant, date, time, location, working relation between the parties, names and addresses of the witnesses, if any, whatever are there. Each and everything has to be categorically mentioned within the complaint as such. Okay. Now, like what will happen after this complaint? What is supposed to be done? So first of all, we have seen that there are certain provisions applicable under the Indian Penal Code also. In case the matter is very grave and offensive as such, of course, the matter has to be taken care by the, you could say, the police authority, but the FIR may be instigated against the person, and the proceedings under section 354 or other sections of the IPC are supposed to be initiated. But there could be other forms as well, like whereby the gravity of the offense is not that high. Okay, so now there could be what kind of things that we could take. So conciliation may take place. So it may include the verbal warnings, counseling, educating, and appointing a neutral conciliator or to resolve the issue as such may be there. But it will all be the choice of the complainant that what actually she wants. Okay, what steps she need to take against the preparator of the information. Then inquiry may also be taken up. We are talking about that also. But everything has to be very much confidential and impartially. The inquiry is supposed to be taken. So confidentiality clause is very important as such, because we know that under any of the provisions of IPC or under any other laws, in case the victim woman is there, so we try to just, you could say, curtail the identity of the women. Her identity should not be disclosed publicly so as to avoid any such kind of embarrassment or harassment what the women may feel afterwards also. So as such, the confidentiality is supposed to be maintained. Like as of for now, we are talking about the women. We are talking about instances, what steps are there, what action she could initiate. But please do give a second thought to it. Okay. Now, the principles of natural justice are supposed to be followed in this particular inquiry process. Why are we following the principles of natural justice? The principles of natural justice means let the other party be heard too. Okay. Sometimes the complaints, the problems may be something else. It may or may not be genuine too. But at that particular moment of time, what is expected that the opportunity to the other party should also be given. Okay, the principle, we know that a dual pattern. So it will be applicable and no person can be judged in his own case. Okay, so suppose as if it is the employer who himself is a, you could say, the culprit as such, and we are supposed to make a complaint against the employer himself. So employer himself cannot be a judge in his own case. So then of course the matter has to be taken in certain other form, but definitely the things to be taken care of. Ex parte proceedings may also take place. then legal practitioners are not allowed as such in between. Okay, why the legal practitioners are not allowed? Because the legal practitioners are supposed to take up the matter within the courts, and this is a matter of internal complaint committee. It has to be taken care by the parties themselves, the parties involving the aggrieved party, the women himself, and the employer. Okay, so employer is supposed to provide the working environment to the women, and in case if nothing happens like that, it is the committee himself who is to come into picture, and everything has to be done. So legal practitioners are not required at this particular step. Okay, then certain recommendations may be taken. So recommendations, if the allegations are proven, then the service rules to be followed as for the misconduct. Then disciplinary actions like the written apology, warning, reprimand, withholding of permissions, any pay increments, etc. Those may also be withheld. Counseling sessions, community service, termination from the services may also take place. Then financial damages may be there, or additional recommendations to address the underlying factors may be taken. Now, the matter that I am talking about again here, the false or malicious complaints, in case if any of the complaints are found to be false or the malicious one, then what to be done? So can the lady be, just you could say, we can let go her in the simple manner? No. The action may again be taken against the lady too. So in case if the claim is found to be frivolous claim, okay, if the malicious or the false complaints are there, then of course the action may be instigated against the female too. Moreover, in case if the victim or the witnesses are turning to be the hostile witnesses, or the witnesses are the false witnesses also, then also the action may be taken against them as well. So as we have already discussed about, within 3 months of the incident, the complaint is supposed to be made, and other steps are also followed within the given act itself. Whatever are the service rules, or the, what do you say, the fees, etc., is to be paid by the employer concerned. And this was all about the basic information concerning the prevention of sexual harassment at the workplace. And I will be happy to take up any of your queries. Thank you so much. Now over to you, Dr. Ruby.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for insightful, informative, and impactful presentation. Your expertise and knowledge in this field is evident from the quality of your discussion today, ma'am. Your insights and perspectives provided valuable information to our attendees and helped to deepen their understanding of this topic. So thank you so much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we have few
Thank
queries
you.
from the attendees. With your permission, we'll take up those queries, ma'am.
Yes, please.
All right. So, ma'am, there is very interesting question popped up from a student, Kiran Jot Kaur. She wants to know that what kind of challenges you have faced in your academic era, which you think the LPU student, those who are enrolling in this, specifically in this course in your department, will not able to face. So what?
Challenges faced by myself, I believe that whatever were the challenges, whenever I felt like at any of the places there were certain challenges, and if in case if I felt like, so at the same point of time, if those were addressed and taken care of, then I don't feel that there is something any point which is unturned or unaddressed to. So to my understanding, we have already taken certain steps in order to provide a secure working environment for all the employees who are working along with us, and also the students who are there with us. And as a student, in case if you feel there are certain issues, so I will request you to please report the matters at the earliest to us, so that if there be anything like this, it should be stopped at the same point of time.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, another question I want to take up. There's an attendee who wants to know that what kind of advancements are there in the university if he wants to pursue this course. So what are the upper hands that which distinguish our university from other universities?
Okay. So specifically in case we are talking about the LPU and other institutions, as right now I was talking about this particular act. So whatever presentations we people make here, we discuss about the various other laws as such. So as such, all these things are being taken up in our subjects also. So as far as any, if I compare any LPU student with a student of any other organization, I always find that my students are better equipped as compared to the students from the other institutions. For the reason like we have edge on the pedagogy, Then we have edge on the academics also, the kind of exposure being given to the student, whether it be on the name of the moot courts, the mock trials, or it may be the sending on the internships, or what else, whatever opportunities are being created here in the LPU that the students will not find easily for the other institutions too. So I think by this we are preparing our students better. We are preparing our students in a better way out so that they can face the challenges outside the world as well. Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, we'll take up last but not the least question. There are two courses, undergraduate, if we talk about undergraduate programs, there are two programs, that is BA LLB and BBA LLB. So, what is the difference in these two?
Okay. As far as the BA and the BBLLB courses are concerned, let me tell you very clearly that the law is same in both the courses. It's only about your graduation interest, in which particular area you have to take your graduation degree, whether it is the humanities like the BA degree be there, or it is a business administration. It's your interest area where you wish to create the differentiation. But from the legal perspective, all the courses of law are same in both the areas. Okay, so now let me compare the scenario because we have the students from various arenas. So hereby, in case the student is looking for a corporate placement, or in case the student wish to do CS or something course like that, then definitely the students prefer BBLLB course. And in case if the student is willing to go for the judiciary, or they said that we have already started at humanities up till 10+2, then they are more prone to go towards the BLLB course. It's like I will say, the opportunities are available for both the streams in the equal manner. It's your choice that how you wish to proceed ahead, whether with the BLLB or with the BBLLB, whatever be your interest area. So accordingly, it should be taken up by the student. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for resolving all the queries of our attendees. And we have few queries from the admission part. So for that, I would like to request our admission nominee, Dr. Tushindrapreet Kaur. Ma'am, please join us and enlighten the students about the admission process and the other facilities at LPU.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you so much, Dr. Ruby. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good evening, one and all. Hope you all are fine and safe at your places. I'll speak about the rankings, the campus life, the infrastructure, last but not the least, the ways how you can grab the scholarship and you can mellow down the fee structure. So to start with, 13 students of LPU created the history, represented India in Indian Olympics 2020, and they brought laurels by winning various medals. This is a glimpse of our student Neeraj Chopra for becoming first Indian to clinch the gold medal. This is a glimpse of our students who are happily working across the globe over good packages, over package of 1 crore. So you name a brand, it's in front of you, be it Google, Apple, Amazon. So the list is long. It gives me immense pleasure to share that our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Ashok Kumar Mittal, he's the Chancellor of Lovely Professional University. Apart from this, he's a member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha. He addressed the House of Lords, British Parliament, London. Now I'll speak about the rankings which university is having. The university has been ranked by Times Higher Education. World University ranks university as 23rd. Ministry of Education, Government of India has ranked our university as 47th among all government and the private universities in India. In addition to this, the School of Law has been ranked 13th. World University ranking has ranked LPU as the second, and as university has scored global band of 101 to 200, that is top IVY league universities. In addition to this, the university has been ranked 3rd by the Atal ranking of the institutions on innovation achievements. I'll move ahead with the campus life and the exposure which university offers. University proudly hosted 106th Indian Science Congress, which was inaugurated by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, where he renamed the slogan as Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. This is a glimpse of Nobel laureate for peace and the great spiritual leader of Tibet, Dalai Lama, who graced the convocation of LPU as a chief guest. This is a glimpse where you can see the presidents of two countries, where President late Shri Pranab Mukherjee, he visited the university and chaired the convocation twice. He's none other than our former Union Finance Corporate Minister, late Shri Arun Jaitley ji, who inaugurated the startup school at the university, wherein he interacted with the students and highlighted to adopt these startups at the early stage. I'm pretty sure you are aware and you are well versed with this person. He is world-renowned life coach Gaur Gopal Das ji, who visited us and inspired the students the ways of leading a happy life. Apart from the great leaders, we do invite the celebrities, the glimpse of which you can visualize, Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika Padukone, who visited the university and interacted with the students. Apart from the leaders and the celebrities, we do have welcomed Captain Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who also visited the university and interacted with the students and told him his various ways of success or his journey towards the success. Now, I'm going to brief regarding the infrastructure which university is having. Before I initiate, I just want to give this disclaimer that LPU's infrastructure is one of the biggest and the best in the world. So I'll give you the glimpses. To initiate with, the university has 2 amphitheaters which are used to organize cultural events, competitions, as well as Nukkad Nataks. The university has the auditoriums, the which you are visualizing right now is one of the biggest auditorium with a seating capacity of 2,500 people, which is used to host the conferences of national and international repute. This is the Uni Center, which comprises the heart and soul of the university. You will find a lot of shops ranging from various stationery to food stalls. You have think into your mind, you will find a particular shop inside this. These are the incubation. We do have the incubation centers. These are the shops which are run by the students. So we do invite your entrepreneurial ideas. This is the central library. We have 9-storied central library with more than 20 lakh books for your input. Just to bring you out of the academic monotony, we do have the bowling alley. Those who are gym freak, for them, we have the gym facility, world-class gym facility rather. We do care about the sick and the diseased people. So we have Uni Hospital, which run 24/7. God forbidden, if you are stuck with any medical ailment, we do have solution for that. So it gives me immense pleasure to share that we have multifarious sports stadium with a wide variety facilities of swimming pool. All-weather swimming pool is there, badminton courts, shooting range. So this is the day view of lovely professional university. And this is the night view of lovely professional university in general and residential in particular. This is in night view in particular. Now I'm going to take you to the page, the university page, where I'll be showcasing you the information regarding the eligibility, the fee structure, the other things. Let me take you to, it's lpu.in. Dr. Ruby, I hope my screen is visible to all.
Not yet, ma'am. We can still see the presentation only.
Okay, I'll share my screen again. I hope it is visible now.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
All right. Can you see the website?
Of course, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruby. So guys, let's go to the website. I have opened the website. It's lpu.in. Therein you need to click at the admissions. Therein we will be selecting our discipline after 10+2. We will be identifying the discipline as this discipline is for law. So I have selected law. So you can see 2 programs, BA honor, BA LLB honors, BBA LLB honors, as very clearly mentioned by Dr. Meenu ma'am. So depending upon your interest, you can go ahead with either BA or LLB. So for more clarity, I'm going to give you the details for BBA LLB honors. This is a 5 years program, which is equivalent to 10 semesters. The eligibility is clearly mentioned, 60% in 10+2, plus the national level exam, maybe CLAT or CUET is there. In addition to this, the university also conducts its own exam, LPU NEST, that is Lovely Professional University National Entrance and the Scholarship Test, which serves 2 purposes. One is the eligibility and second is the scholarship. We do acknowledge your hard efforts and we provide you the scholarship on the basis of your exams as well as on the basis of your entrance exam. So as ma'am mentioned, what inputs we give. So you can also see that we have clearly mentioned the content which will be taught to you in the autumn term, in the spring term. For altogether 5 years, you can see the content which will be taught to you. So scrolling more, let me come to the point. I told you, I'll tell you how you can save your money. So here I am. The fee for this program is 1,20,000 per semester. This is without scholarship. I told you that we acknowledge your hard efforts and we float the scholarship. Now, we float it on the basis of previous percentage, like previous in your previous class, on the basis of your 10+2. So bare minimum 80% has to be there. If you have 80 to 89.9, you will be coming in third category, that is of 30%. More than 90%, you will be getting 35%, and above 95%, it is 40%. Means better you score, better will be your scholarship. So we are giving from 30% to 40%, depending upon your previous score in 10+2, as well as on the basis of LPU NEST. But one best scholarship will be given. In addition to this, we do provide the scholarship on the CLAT, on depending upon what ranks you have. Then other scholarships are there, financial aid is there. So to sum up, one best scholarship will be applicable into your case. So I'll advise you not to wait for the last date. Different processes are there. You need to sign up, you need to fill the eligibility, you need to book the slot, and then go ahead with the online counseling. Last but not the least, admission. So on the screen, the important dates are there. The previous schedule has gone, the current schedule, the dates are there, wherein we have started with the online registration for the exam. The last date is 31st. Again, a disclaimer, don't wait for the last date. Plan your decision well in advance. So your exam will start from 5th of April to 30th of April. That is for LPU NEST. Result will be declared on 5th of May, and then the process will be there. So don't wait for the last date and book your slot accordingly. In addition to this, I'm sure you might be having certain things that how to get back to us. We are there to assist you. On the right bar, you can see certain options wherein you can schedule a call with us. Then you can further go ahead with this option would be there. After scheduling a call, then we are also available through live video counseling. And then you can also get back to us on, with other options like chat option is there. I'll advise you to go to 360-degree view of the university. Video counseling, as I told, is available. Then you drop a question, your query on WhatsApp. We'll be giving you the answer accordingly. So you have the problem into your mind. We will be providing you the solution either telephonically or through video counseling into any other kind of mode. So on this particular page, I talked about the eligibility, the fee structure, and the different ways to grab that scholarship. So it's over from my side, Dr. Ruby.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving a brief idea to the students, to the attendees about the admission process, how to enroll and how to get all the details. So thank you, ma'am. And I think you have covered almost all the questions which were the queries from our attendees about the admission process and eligibility. So thank you so much, ma'am. So if you, ma'am, Minu ma'am and Tashinda ma'am, if you permit, can we conclude the session for today?
Definitely, definitely, Dr. Ruby.
Surely. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So that's all for today. My heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for attending this webinar on prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. Your presence, participation, and support were instrumental in making this webinar a grand success. So experts, you have brought valuable insights and expertise to the table, and your presentation and discussion were both informative and engaging. So we understand that your time is valuable, and we appreciate the effort you took us to join in and help to create an environment of collaboration and learning which is useful to the attendees. So thank you so much, and we look forward for hosting such more webinars. So until then, stay tuned and signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Ruby.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.